Are reminded to adhere to their ethics statement. CB will do the invocation.
Lord God, as we come before you, we humbly ask for your direction, your wisdom in this meeting and on these members. We pray, Lord, for our military troops around the world, that they might be safe, that you would undergird them and lead them in everything they do. Thank you, Lord, for this meeting. We ask that you be with us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you all for coming tonight. First thing on the agenda here is the modification. Are there any modifications to the agenda?
Yes, sir. We have two. The first item would be to consider a reimbursement for Mr. Parker's purchase of event insurance for the celebration he had out at the airport. We would ask that you place that as item D under finance, under budget finance.
Can I have a motion to do that?
So moved.
All in favor? And you're opposed? Okay, sorry, 4-1.
And the second item would be to consider a resolution to support Hiawassee Dam Volunteer Fire Department for a tax-exempt loan for I believe it was a tanker truck.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Can I?
That would be E. Got to be E under budget.
Can I have a motion to accept the agenda as modified?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. We have the public forum. Ms. Amelia Stone is the only one who has signed up. Would you like to?
I just wanted to ask that when you have the public forum before the meeting like we do, and you have something like a resolution or especially resolutions that come up that are not made public prior to the meeting, that those resolutions be read at one meeting and adopted at the next to give people an opportunity to address concerns about them. And I was looking at the Forest Service resolution last time. It was not on the agenda, and it was not part of the public stuff that went out, because I get all that. So we didn't get it ahead of time. We didn't get a chance to maybe contact you and talk to you about what we felt maybe should have been changed in the wording or whatever. So I would like to request that those kinds of things that are not put out prior to the meeting be either tabled to the next meeting or read at one meeting and adopted at the next. And that was the comment.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak in public forum? You do not have to be signed up to speak. Okay, the next item are the minutes from the June 26th meeting. Has anybody read them? And if so, I will entertain a motion to accept.
Make a motion to accept.
All in favor? Okay, next item, business and finance. Hiawassee Valley Pool and Wellness Center financial report. Candy Anderson.
Yes, sir. This is for the month of June. It does show a cash deficit of $4,551.54. We did have 3 payrolls in June, so had that third payroll not fell in June, it would actually been a positive. The foundation has agreed to cover this deficit.
Good. Thank you very much. Next item is a budget revision for the AC unit at Fane Mountain Pier and Equipment Room, which is obviously very important for comms in the county. Do we have any commentary on that?
It's at $400 to purchase a portable AC unit. The equipment is overheating. At one point, they had one radio equipment at 103 degrees, and the fan keeps failing. So the recommendation recommendation of Chief Thigpen at the Sheriff's Office was to purchase a $400 portable AC unit to ensure that that equipment stays cool.
Any comment? Go ahead.
Is that one of the portable units that just has the flex hose that you duck out?
It'll be vetted out.
Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second, somewhere?
Second.
All in favor? Next item, the fiscal year 17-18 Bear Paul budget needs our formal approval. Anyone like to discuss it, or can we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, and the next item, the reimbursement to Richard Parker for the event insurance in the amount of $391.20. Any comments?
This came up, it was brought to my attention, and there was some miscommunication about this being a county function or not a county function. And the reason he had to buy the insurance is if it's not a county function, we require that, an additional liability policy. I mean, we as a board named the terminal after him. We as a board paid for the sign to go on the building, and we as a board were at the event. Even though we didn't have to arrange the event, it was, in my mind, it was a county event, and it shouldn't have, and it was just seating in a hangar, shouldn't have had to have the additional insurance, in my opinion. So with that said, I'll make a motion to reimburse him for whatever the receipt was that he paid for that insurance.
I'll second that motion. All in favor? All opposed? So noted. The next is the Hiawassee Dam Volunteer Fire Department resolution for a tax-exempt loan for a tanker unit. The county is not on the hook for this loan. Has everyone read this? Can I have a motion to?
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor? Okay. We go on to new business. First item is the settlement for current real estate and personal property taxes for fiscal year 16-17 required by law. This is to settle taxes for the previous fiscal year. Candy, would you like to? Oh, okay. Have someone official. Okay, all right, yeah.
I have, in your packet, you have a one statement on everything that was collected in the last year. We finished the year with 97.19% collected as of the end of June. We've had quite a bit since then that didn't count on that. So it's the highest percentage we've ever had in Cherokee County.
Good job.
Thank you.
Any comments? Can I have a motion to approve it?
So moved.
All in favor? And the next item is the order directing the tax collector to collect taxes charged in the tax records. We're also required by law.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Go get them. Nicely, yeah. Cindy says nicely. The North Carolina Vehicle Tax Report. Has everyone had a chance to look at that? Can we have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept.
All in favor? We have tax releases. Have we read them? Any questions? Can I have a motion to accept?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Tax refund report. Have we read them? Any comments? Can I have a motion to accept? Okay.
I just have one question. Since something like this particular radiator shop closed in '07, why are we waiting this long? I'm just curious before we clear this up.
It was just recommended given to me. We are in the process of going through a lot of old businesses that have been closed for years, and so trying to get them off the books.
Cal, this was one that was actually, he come in and signed an affidavit about the time that they were making the transfer from with the new construction, and no one can put their hands on it. They know he was in, they know he presented to the board, but no one can find the documentation, so just carry it on.
We have a motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor? Okay, Eddie Allen, an overview of gap billing for informational purposes.
Yes, this is just,
Could you speak into the microphone so we can hear you?
hope you can. This is the new statute that was just approved by the state of North Carolina, which basically mandates that we have to start the collection and billing process of gap bills on motor vehicles. In the past, some of those we've been able to selectively bill and collect based on amount. Now we're mandated to collect all. And by doing so, it's going to generate a lot of 50-cent, dollar bills, because we have to prorate that based on the number of months that gap occurs. So, for example, if your tag expired in May 1st and you're just now getting it renewed, then we have to go in and manually calculate what the taxes would be for 2 months as an unregistered motor vehicle and bill that to the taxpayer. It's labor intensive. The other thing it will do is, if we generate a bill, which we wouldn't be able to do before, you're looking at September 1st, those are going to be due the 1st September following billing. So we're looking at a whole year before it becomes due and doesn't become past due until January of 2019. So there's going to be a lot of confusion with this. It's going to be a nightmare. You're going to get lots of nice phone calls. We are too. So what I suggested is that we just raise that up on our minimum billing to $5 as opposed to the $2 minimum that we have now. If you look at it, if we paid somebody $10 an hour and they work 15 minutes, it's $2.50 without covering the cost of the postage, envelope, the bill, etc. So this is a losing proposition for us. So we're just trying to get to the break-even portion of it. Just want to give y'all a heads up.
Go ahead.
So if we raise it to the 5, any vehicle that is over 5, which a lot of vehicles may be, very well may be, could be a few hundred, you would still pursue those and do the billing.
Yes.
This is just the vehicles that's almost worth nothing, that wouldn't meet that minimum
Right. When
requirement.
you're looking at a $5,000 car and you prorate it for 2 to 3 months, it's not worth the effort of trying to collect that, because this is not a automatic bill like we have now. This is a calculated bill that we have to figure and then bill.
I've been hammering on the state to come up with a solution for what essentially is the refunds for surrender tags, and actually have been doing that 2 years. This kind of covers that. But fact is, I understand what you're saying, so I wouldn't oppose to raising that to 5, as long as we're pursuing those that's worth pursuing.
And that's why I wanted to give you a heads up tonight, and then we'll actually draft a formal resolution and you can vote on it and approve it.
Cal?
Question. My 1985 utility trailer valued $300, which cost me $1.50-some every year. Would that be encompassed in this under 5, or is that a
If
separate
you
deal?
order it, if you buy a tag for it, yes. But yours is under $2 anyway, so it's not billed. That's our standard, is $2 on all tax bills.
You remember, we did that when we figured out we were spending $3 to collect a 50-cent bill. Your government at its best. So we decided to get a bigger watermelon truck.
On a positive note, though, the gap bills will generate about $20,000 in revenue.
Right.
So,
On those, it's worth billing, worth revenue.
Unintended consequences of big government.
now you know.
Thank you. Okay, Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council appointments. We have one for the alternative position. Do I have a motion to appoint her? The appointment dies for lack of a motion. Can I have a motion to re-advertise the position? All in favor? Okay, the next, the Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council applicants. 2 applicants for the remaining 2 alternate positions. We have people here tonight, do we not? Ready?
Yes, Judy Herr and Houston Del Alman. Judy Herr would be the first on the list to hear from. Just introduce
Hey,
yourself.
don't I know you from somewhere?
I'm Judy Burke. What do you want to know?
You're not an unknown quality. So you want to be on the Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council?
Yes,
It's very difficult to say all that.
it is.
Is there not an acronym for it that we could use? Judy Herr is an incredible nurse. I've had a lot of experience with her, and I want to thank you for applying. Does anyone have any questions for her? Okay, we will vote on that next time. Thank you very much. Who's next?
Houston Alman.
Mr. Alden was in attendance earlier.
You're sitting right over here. Sit.
Keep our eyes open if he comes back.
If he comes back. Board of Health applicant for the RN position. Another first meeting. Would you like to come up and introduce yourself?
My name's actually Dan. I'm applying for the Board of Health as the RN position. What do you want? I'm a stay-at-home mom right now, so I haven't been working for about a year. But I've been a nurse for about 3 years, and prior to that I was in Michigan. So nursing is my second career, mothering is my first. I'd like to kind of stay in touch with, I guess, the community a little bit. We're kind of new to the area, so I thought it would be good.
Where'd you go to school?
The first time Georgia Tech, the second time Medical College of Georgia, the nursing school.
So you're a heck of an engineer in addition to a nurse?
That's right.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you very much for coming. Okay, we have did he come back in? All right, we have the approval of JCPC member Nancy Chastain retiring, will be replaced by Karen Underwood, we agreed, in the position of mental health director. As a formality, we need to vote for Karen Underwood to replace Nancy Chastain on the JCPC. Do we have any comments on that?
That one is positions.
That is, yeah. Can I have a motion?
Motion to approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, now this is a fun one because someone has to travel a long distance. We need to designate the NCACC voting delegate.
I nominate CB.
You're gonna have to look out for this year, somebody else will have to do it. I appreciate it.
All right, we need a volunteer. This is like the military, so someone's gonna have to volunteer.
I've done that just almost every year since I've been playing.
Where is it this
It's
year?
on hat for CD.
I think it's Raleigh this year, isn't it?
I thought it was gonna be on the Outer Banks. Is it gonna be in Manio?
You can do it tomorrow.
Can I have someone who wants to volunteer for this honor of traveling to Raleigh? Well, I don't go to Raleigh. I'm general principles.
I'll do it.
All right, we have a volunteer, we have a secretary, I mean a volunteer.
I make a motion, Commissioner Westmore.
I second it. All in favor? All right, we have, let's see, Map Solutions, Inc. are soliciting ads for county maps. This is something we either do want to do or don't want to do. Andy, you have some info on this?
Yes, it's in your packet. Sandy Cooper is here if you have any questions for her. It's the buy and add of the maps to the TDA, also to the courthouse, other locations that can be handed out to visitors to the county, showing highlights of interest. Sandy, you might be able to provide some additional information.
This is the free map that is advertised on the big yellow sign as you come into town. And we give these out to any visitor who is interested in a nice map. This is a quality map that has grown over the years, and it gets better and better every year. This year they're going to combine the towns of Murphy and Andrews on one side of the map. Do you want me to open up a map so you can see what it looks like? Okay, pass it around. This year, both towns have committed to placing an ad, and we're combining them because we're one county, and it's just ridiculous to have two maps going around, one for Andrews and one for Murphy, and we're all in the same county. And it's just more prudent as far as expense and printing. This year, they're going to shade all the voting districts for the county. And what we would like, most municipalities do have their county commissioners or supervisors, whatever they're called, all over the South, participate on the map. And the commissioners are on there with their telephone numbers or whatever you want for the courthouse. And people coming in, they'll know who their commissioner is and who they need to get in touch with, if you like. And there'll be a digital map available also that the county can attach to any government program or office that they want. And any special information that you want on the county will be included.
Isn't that a little pricey though for $1,275?
No, I
get 500 maps.
I talked to the representative today, and she said $11.75 for that panel.
Well, it'd still be just a short side of $2 a map though.
But we don't sell the maps, and this is,
I mean, a little over $2 a map.
the shelf life is over 2 years, because we don't update this every year. It's updated every two and a half years. This printing will be in October.
Can I ask you, when is the date by which you have to know what we decide?
Well, we'd like to know by August 1st.
Is the TDA not considered purchasing this?
No, that would be an expense. We give them out free, and this map is supported by the advertisers. And how many advertisers we get on it depends on how many maps. We get the bulk of the distribution. And then the other, if you advertise on, like Dr. Eichenbaum has committed to advertise, and he'll get 50 maps for his office.
It's a neat map, but this is a good place for business to advertise on county government.
Well, I tried to get Cherokee Well Drilling, and they said no.
The CD doesn't
So
work for them no
I
more.
thought Mountain River works for bigger.
They might do that. Yeah, I just don't see, like I say, this is a good place for business to advertise. I wouldn't as a commissioner.
Any
Can't be
other?
having an ad. We're not advertising for profit. We're actually in the whole business.
No, you're advertising for information for people who are coming in here to live, work, and play. That's what the whole thing is, and it just gives a whole lot of nice information in one little package.
It's a nice town. I mean, a nice map.
Any other commentary? Anyone want to make a motion in favor of doing this?
I do. I'll make a motion, we do.
Is there a second? Motion dies.
I'll go ahead and second. Under duress.
You can pay it, you don't have to pay it at all.
Yeah, I realize how you give those out, but I'm torn on this because of the county spending the money. We've not done that before, have we? The county's not bought that before.
No, this county hasn't, but there are, I think Randy has some samples of maps where she showed you where they have.
She didn't leave them, but she did show where
Oh, okay.
other counties have.
I'm just the messenger, so don't shoot me.
No, we appreciate you coming and presenting.
We can't shoot anyone in the courthouse.
The TDA, since they're in the process of giving out information, I don't understand why the TDA couldn't possibly buy into this.
They just don't purchase map, they just don't sell maps. We can't sell them, we can't purchase them. and we
No, I'm
can't
talking
sell-
about buying into the ad.
Oh, well, we're getting a one for compliment, we're getting a complimentary ad.
We got a motion second.
It's just a little one.
I don't know who's writing that on you, that's right. All right, so we have a motion.
Yeah, prior to the vote, clarify the cost, and is this $11.75 for the back flap for 500 maps?
Not, you'll get 500 maps, I think it's gonna be one of the inside ones.
Inside panels, okay.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Just because I said it, doesn't mean I have to. Sorry.
All opposed?
All right, so CB, you will be advertising on the map, and I'll leave you some information.
You'll have to make an appointment with Mountain Waterworks.
See how easy it is to go ahead and second the motion and let it get on the floor anyway. Kind of remember me on that.
Okay. Next item is the dome, courthouse dome proposal. We are revisiting this from the last meeting.
So I need to get an official bid document so I can give it to those companies. I'd like to see what that is before we move any further forward with any of this.
But we've got to do the dome.
No, we gotta do the dome. I'd like to see what the number is on the dome, then we can see where we are in relation to what we're gonna do on the land. See, you gotta fix it first.
There's no question, the dome has to be repaired, it's a structural issue. Yes, CB?
Well, in this contract that I'm looking at, the one-page contract, and I could be wrong, but what I want to make sure is that we don't end up with a bid package that looks like this Copeland bid package with no specification, no information, you know. So are we going to get a set of drawings, and with this 10-8, are we going to get a set of bid drawings that somebody can take and actually bid on?
I couldn't tell you what the specs will actually look like from this company. I just know that they will provide the specifications of the areas of work that need performed and the work that they recommend to be performed in order to correct those deficiencies.
We've got over $32,000 or $35,000 in this Copula bid package, which consists of 300 pages, and 2 pages of it has specifics that to do with this Copula project, and with no drawings, no pictures, no nothing. So I'd insist that we at least add pictures into it. I don't know how anybody could bid on anything without a set of drawings. So I just want to make sure we don't repeat the process.
Yeah, it does say in this contract that they would provide drawings. If you'll look at under design development number 2.
Roof plan of the dome roof area, roof system penetration details, roof termination flashing details, and associated sheet metal flashings, or what they spell out.
That's a set of drawings. I just want to make sure, because we didn't get that on the first deal, and I just want to make sure on this. As long as it's understood that we're going to get a set of bid drawings for this project.
All I can tell you is this says the drawings will include the following.
Okay, can I have a
If they
motion?
do not, then we can reject that.
Can I have a motion?
to approve it.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, next item is the cancellation of August.
Wait,
Oh,
okay. How long will it take to get this, have this process ready to move forward?
I don't know, I'll be following up with that tomorrow.
We waited pretty good while.
Yeah, we've been into this a year and a half. Over a year and 7 months.
Year and 7 months, and I'm getting tired of it.
Since the very beginning.
That thing has to be fixed. We're getting back to the building now, so it needs to be moved on quickly.
And the cupola is still laying in the hangar at the airport. And as far as I know, one person's coming to look at it.
See, he said he's already got 2 people might be interested, so that's how quick he got somebody to do it.
One of them stated that they won the Copper Fabrications Award 6 years in a row.
It just took 2 years to build the addition to the courthouse.
Whole thing, whole thing, like Charles, 2 years, remodel the whole building.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Build
Charles.
it.
all right, can we move on? Cancellation of the August 21st board meeting and closure of county offices. Would you like to comment?
This is due to, of course, the great Eclipse event that is expected to occur. We'll be having an open forum momentarily to discuss more of that, but in consideration of the traffic and congestion that's expected to occur, the board is considering canceling their meeting for that night and closing county offices for that day. Other than those, of course, required to work, those who choose to, will be treated as a holiday.
May I suggest to you that if the eclipse does not occur, there will be some far greater problems than what the county is open.
The EOC will take on a whole new meeting.
Can I have a motion? What?
In that motion, I previously asked that we would consider that a holiday.
Yes, and that's how we would treat it as a holiday.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All right, the town of Andrews would like to come before us and ask if they can charge for Heritage Park spaces to offset the cost of being renting these spaces to professional people. Mayor?
Thank you very much.
The mayor has brought a bodyguard with him.
It's taller than me. I'm Nancy Curtis. I'm from the town of Andrews. We are putting on a 3-day event in Andrews. It starts on Saturday and it will go through Monday. We are paying out of our pocket for everything that we're doing there. We haven't asked anyone for funds other than the TDA for some shuttle buses that we know we're going to need. I don't know if everybody knows this, but Cherokee County is expecting over 1 million people, just the county itself. And we know in the town of Andrews, with where we're at, the beautiful valley, big vista, I'm sorry, Western North Carolina, my mistake. I'm pretty focused on the county right now. But we know that we're going to have a lot of people in our valley. We've already had 60 telescope clubs to call and contact us to reserve a spot. We have reserved 100 porta potties, and they will be placed where our parking lots are in Heritage Park also. There is a cost of that somewhere in the neighborhood between $3,500 and $5,000. We have gotten about $1,000 funding for some extra shuttles that we know we're going to need. We have a lot of parking in the Andrews. We have a lot of parking places. We are going to need to move people around. We are not charging anyone that is coming to Heritage Park that's from our county that wants to come there. That is not our citizens. These are people who have called us from as far away as New York and Texas that want to come to our place. They're going to park their vehicles in one area. We're going to patrol their vehicles. They have expensive telescopes, and we would like to provide them with security. We know we're going to have overtime and extra staff needed. And we don't know exactly what we're out for, but we have a little budget of about $10,000 right now to pull this whole thing off. I have Zach Stockbridge here that would tell you a little more about it, but we're not in it to make a profit. This is not about profit, it's just that we come out of it unscathed. Thank you. Zach, would you like to say something?
Yes.
I know we usually don't want to charge, but under this circumstance, and the fact they're gonna be providing porta-johns, not at the expense of the county, and what they're orchestrating and trying to manage that, I feel like we should go ahead and let them charge for this particular event, to help defer some of the costs, because they're gonna have probably even a greater cost than you're anticipating when you get into the overtime.
$35, and I have one guy that's bringing an 18-inch telescope for a star party that we're gonna have on Sunday night, and he thought that was nothing. He's gonna actually stay in Chattanooga and wait it out. He's gonna go ahead and pay the $35, which is all they're paying for. Some of these astronomy clubs have maybe 20 members. So really, it's no charge much for them, and we're giving them service and a place to go to the bathroom, so.
And
Yeah, I think so.
county residents are not being charged?
No, no.
Any discussion? Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
I'd like to ask a question.
Okay.
If we do that for the town of Andrews, why wouldn't we do it for the town of Murphy?
They asked for it.
Were they going to charge?
I've heard nothing from the plans here at Conahita that involves anyone being charged.
We're gonna have a request for
Yeah.
later in the meeting though. We're gonna have a request for later in the meeting.
But now the county will have costs involved in the event countywide, so not just at these locations.
Yeah.
I got a flyer that the town is charging but if somebody's setting up as a vendor to sell property.
I've not seen that. And that's typically
That's
the
just-
4th of July.
Right, just like 4th of July.
$25 vendor charge, which is very
Yeah, I think it's what they're doing.
And
Murphy is similar.
we have people that are really worked for months on putting this together, and they're doing a great job. We want to, keep this ball rolling. We know this is good for business. I think our town will benefit a lot. But $35 is not a lot of money for people that are coming here that want us to reserve their spot.
You're not charging any county residents.
No, these are foreign people.
I'm have to second it, but I need to just so it'd be clean that it's
Yes.
worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll amend my motion to include Murphy as well, being a charge.
Okay, can I have a second to Cal's motion?
I second that.
Okay, any other discussion before we
I was
vote?
going to clarify, the charge would be to set up, to have a reserved spot for a telescope for those type of things, for somebody just to come out and watch, there wouldn't be.
Yeah. This is not for people to watch.
No, well, we actually have extra police officers on duty for that Monday. And, actually, the people that are coming to the park are not camping there or anything, they're just, all their equipment will be there overnight too.
So there's no spectator charge.
Right.
No.
Can I have a vote? All in favor?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay. County manager items.
I have no additional items.
We're gonna talk about the town.
Yes, I'll let you bring that up.
Okay. I received a call from Barbara Hughes this morning as part of the task force for the Eclipse events for the town of Murphy. And she has requested, Barbara Hughes, is part of the task force for the town of Murphy, the Eclipse event. And she has asked if the county would be willing to provide paper products for the park bathrooms. And they're getting 25 porta-johns, so I know some paper products come with that. But she was interested in paper towels, toilet paper, hand soap,
Trash
and
bags.
trash bags. So, and she also would like for our recreation department to work those days to be able to stay on top of our restrooms and keep those areas clean and stocked.
People, he could have time.
So I did ask him to be here tonight just to ask if he was willing, his staff was willing to do that if the board, was agreeable to that. So he's here if you have any questions.
It's understanding the event Murphy starts Sunday and goes through Monday. The plan, if we were to approve, the time for rec staff to work on a day they normally would work, which would be Sunday, would be maybe to have them check things out Saturday evening, and then do so again Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening prior to the Monday event, just to try to keep the bathrooms in some kind of condition. Depending on the number of people that are here using them, we don't know yet what we could expect from that, so. And if he and his staff are able, I think it would help the situation.
Here again, we can't do that for Murphy without doing it for Andrews, can we?
We've not been asked by Andrews to provide that. I think they're handling that themselves unless I'm incorrect. This request actually came in today.
You have any comments?
Because I think the difference in Andrews would be the fact that we don't have restrooms up there. And they're talking about the functioning restrooms we have, you're gonna have porta.
They're not talking about paper in the porta john?
No, they're talking about our
This is
restrooms.
in the RS.
Yeah.
In our park, staff to keep
Does anyone have any idea of the cost?
As we're clarifying, I definitely wouldn't want,
Yeah, and I have no idea what, we wouldn't know what that cost is, not knowing who people are paying for, what that's gonna be.
Well, I think regardless if it's whatever event's coming, you've got to keep toilet paper in town.
I'm gonna agree.
I'll vote on that.
It's just got to be done, so I think it's a no-brainer.
All right, can we have a motion?
Okay, well, that, since Pee Wee's here, do
you wanna say anything,
thoughts
Pee Wee?
on this thing?
All part of the job, I guess. I talked to the guys about it, Maria called me today, and the guys there in Sunday said they don't work on Sunday. Most of them, I kind of agree with them on church, I don't like them. I told them I would take care of Sunday, come in and check it, and they agreed they would work Monday, because they don't work, they don't get paid for it. So I'll have somebody there Monday, and I'll take care of it Sunday.
I'll make your Sunday.
They'll get paid extra.
I think that's a good thing. If they come in on Monday, it's on their part.
Yeah, they'll get.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Can we have a vote? All in favor?
I'm sure it will.
We're voting on toilet paper.
You can send a few rolls down the valley if you like.
No, Andrews has got to use leaves. It's natural. Okay. Anyone, Chairman or Commission items, anyone have something you want to say?
So when we get a cut of this $35, then we're in on the fund.
We may have to put a toilet paper surcharge on.
Is that per square?
It's time to go.
All right, so if there are no,
Excuse me, I didn't catch the vote on that. We were first and second.
we had a first and a second, we want to vote again for the,
All of us. Everybody supports.
for,
Who made the motion?
Yeah, we need the first.
He said you want toilet paper.
anything else before we go and we recess? I will take a vote to a motion and a second and a vote to go into recess for a public safety hearing about the eclipse. Can I have a first, a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? We are in recess.
Is this a good restroom break?
Yeah, let's do a restroom break. Our people from our emergency management, the EMS, the Office of the Sheriff. As you have probably heard, this year we are not going to have to go to Nova Scotia to see a total eclipse of the sun. We bid long and hard to get the eclipse to come here to Murphy, and we're very, very fortunate that it's coming here this year. We don't know how many people are going to be here. It could be just the people in this room, or it could be an awful lot more people than Cherokee County is accustomed to handling. So the commission wants us, the county, to be prepared, and we have been having lots of meetings in advance with the people who are going to be on the tip of the spear to make sure that we are prepared for whatever may or may not happen. So I'm going to turn this meeting over to Robin Caldwell, the head of emergency management. Thank you. And after the meeting, we can have a little discussion if we want. There are some things that we all need to be aware of, and I think that Robin's going to cover them very well. And of course, we have Doug Mills, we have the sheriff. And we're going to give you our opinion about what, I want you to understand that we have been preparing for this event. We have not been sitting back with our feet up on the couch or the coffee table. I'd be in trouble if I did that. But we're not sitting back and doing that. We have been very, very active. Mostly these people, they deserve our thanks and our credit for the hours and hours and hours of work that they have put in to be prepared for this event. Robin.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Archibald. I am Robin Caldwell, the Emergency Management Director for the county. As he said, we wanted to present to you guys today that the county has been proactively trying to get ready for this eclipse that is going to occur. So we put together just a very quick PowerPoint presentation, trying to keep cautious of everybody's time. So at the end, we'll entertain thoughts and questions if you have any. And I'm gonna have to go back and forth, so excuse that. The Great American Solar Eclipse or the Total Solar Eclipse. If anybody is not aware, if you've not heard of it, you can Google those two terms and you'll find out anything and everything you want to know, except how many people are coming. It is going to be August the 21st for here, totality, and I'll go into a little bit about that in a minute, is approximately 2:35, 2:36 p.m. on the 21st. That's a Monday. Some quick facts about the eclipse. What makes this one significant? Because I'm hoping that everybody here has experienced an eclipse at some point, right? So what makes this one so significant that we're having to meet and plan about it? This is the first time in 26 years that the United States has seen a total solar eclipse. Total being that the sun is 100% completely blocked by the shadow of the moon, okay? 26 years ago, it was only seen in Hawaii. Okay, so only one state then. In 1979, we had a total solar eclipse in a few states in the upper northwest part of the nation. So I think there was 4 or 5 states that saw it then. So not like what we're getting ready to experience in August. This will be the first total solar eclipse exclusive to the U.S. Okay? It will start in Oregon, and it will go diagonally, and at the end of the presentation you'll see a slide, but it will go diagonally across the country and exit in South Carolina. We could anticipate seeing changes as early as 10 o'clock that day, okay? Peak totality for here will again be around 2:36 p.m. The entire state will see some of the eclipse, but again, that will be partial. But there's only about 7 or 8 counties in the state that are going to experience the peak totality. Those being at the bottom, of course, Cherokee, Clay, Macon, Jackson, Transylvania, Swain, Graham, and the Eastern Band. And there is a map of the path for our state, and I don't know if you can see it, but right here, that will be Andrews. They get the longest duration of totality, okay? So that's what the mayor was alluding to earlier, so that's where everybody's wanting to be, is to get to see the 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Everybody else in these counties and us will get a little bit less. So Murphy, maybe about 2 minutes, 35 seconds. So a little bit less. Okay, some anticipated impacts. Accommodations are selling out or have already sold out. To our knowledge, all hotel rooms are booked, all cabin rentals are booked, all campgrounds are booked, all boat rentals are booked. People are now starting to open up their pasture and rent those out, open up their houses, their bedrooms from the influx because of all of the accommodations already being sold out. So to give you an idea of what we could be looking at. Transportation issues due to the traffic pre-event. We've been told to expect traffic to increase as early as a week prior to the eclipse. Okay. So with the eclipse being on the 21st, we could see higher traffic the week before. And then, of course, traffic volume increasing the day of. We've also been told to expect the larger cities the day of, hey, it's sunny, let's go. So especially Atlanta and some of those other areas, we're anticipating coming to us. Cherokee County schools are closed that day, so that helps us, and now we know that the county's closed, so that will help us also in our planning. Numerous special events have been planned. I would start naming those, but I know I'll forget them, and it's evolving daily. So we are trying to keep an ongoing, growing list of them for us, more for situational awareness for us, so for emergency services. If we know that events going on in Andrews, Murphy, or wherever, then we know that there's the potential for large crowds to be in these locations. And if there's large crowds, then there's the potential for increased medical calls, increased law calls. So for us, we're just trying to keep up with those evolving, growing venue sites that are occurring. So the unknown. And I think we've already talked about it a little bit. That's our challenge. This hasn't happened in 26 years at least. So even then, planning, writing plans, documentation wasn't a priority back then, so we have nothing to go by. So, and when we ask, well, how many can we expect? Nobody knows. And nobody can give us for sure how many might come. So that's been our challenge. We are taught in emergency services to plan for the worst and hope for the best. So that is what our plan is going to be like. And tonight, you're going to hear generalized plans of what we're doing. So I hope you understand that. We are not giving out specific plans for security's sake. Okay, but we just wanted the message out that we are planning and we are aware of the potential impact it will have on the county. Some of the activities that we've been doing, I'll start on the regional level. I already listed some of those other counties that are also impacted and looking at the same challenges that we are. So what we've been doing is meeting with those counties, quarterly maybe. And here's some of the agencies. Of course, county and state emergency management, county sheriff's office, local PDs, in all of these counties. DOT, highway patrol, travel and tourism, US. So local, state, federal agencies have been meeting regionally since 2016, September. We also had what we call a tabletop exercise in May, and all that is all of these agencies and then some. This is just a fraction of the agencies that have been present. But we had a roundtable discussion of what ifs. What if this happened? What if this scenario happened? What if you run out of this? And some of the things that came out of that was on a regional level, how are we going to be able to move resources? So what if one of those counties had a large incident that happened and they could not manage it locally? How are other counties, surrounding counties, like we do normal day-to-day, assist them? Or how is the state going to get resources to them? Because of traffic, we've been told could possibly be gridlocked at some point through some of these areas. So that was a challenge that was thrown to us, and one of the solutions was to move some of the resources or apparatus to locations, pre-stage them throughout the region to hopefully avoid some of the congested areas. Okay. Some counties are going to activate their Emergency Operations Center, or EOC, in case I say EOC later. And that is where they activate all of the public safety agencies listed before come into a room to make decisions. Okay, if they're in one room, then that information comes in one room, and then it exits one room. That way, it helps with that information flow. It also helps with coordinating those resources. So, without the EOC, if you would have all of these different potential incidents happening sporadically throughout the county or throughout the region. And point A might not know what point B is doing. Okay, and there might be a resource here at this location that they're not using, but they might need it at this location. Okay, so an emergency operations center would help coordinate that. So some counties are activating theirs. And then of course, some are afraid they're not gonna have enough staff. So mutual aid might be requested in some of those counties. What are we doing on the local level? The same thing as we were doing on the regional level. Okay, all of these agencies and then some have been meeting monthly since January. Okay, so all acronyms. So EMS, that's ambulance service, sheriff's office, Murphy and Andrews PD, highway patrol, Murphy Medical Center, the Chamber of Commerce, and the TDA. Subject matter expert, that would be Zach over here. He is an astronomer who teaches at Tri-County, and he's also coordinating a venue in Andrews. And he has been very good about helping us know what to expect and what to look for. So he's been attending some of our meetings in the Wildlife, Fire Marshal's Office, DOT, Forest Service, TVA, and I know I've left off several. But we've been meeting monthly, getting ready for this and making plans if they're needed. I keep saying if. I'm an optimist. Okay. Some of the things that come from our local meetings is some of the resources we might need. Message boards, those are the digital road signs that you see. DOT has several, and they've been attending our local meetings and the regional meetings, so they have a plan or are developing a plan to bring as many as they can to our western region, and they're going to strategically place those not only in Cherokee County, but all of the counties with specific traffic flow messages. We have one locally that is specific to emergency services, but we are also requesting additional ones so that any additional information that we might need to push out to the public, we'll be able to do. DOT will be in charge of theirs, but we'll be able to use ours. Light towers, and those are mobile light towers. In the event that something happens and we have nighttime operations that we have to do, those light towers, we have 2, but just in case, because there's multiple venues throughout the county, potentially needing more of those, and these will be strategically placed. Also, additional handheld radios for communication. Communication's always a problem, whether it's a small event or a large event, an emergency or a planned event. But just in anticipation of several people working, several people coming into the county during that weekend, and the day of, we're going to request from the state other additional radios, and that would be at no cost. And then the possibility of mutual aid for manpower from the state or other counties outside of totality that are ready to experience what we are. We have a plan to activate our emergency operations center if it's needed. Okay, and I've already explained kind of what that role would be. It would be just for information flow in and information flow out, but also for coordinating those resources, whether it be equipment or manpower. And public information outreach. We've just started trying to get the information out to the public, and a little bit about that, some of the messages that we're wanting people to know for our local citizens, to plan ahead. If you have to travel that day, whether it's in the county or outside the county, to expect delays. Especially if you have to go like to Asheville. So expect delays in every single county going up to that. So might want to change that. But if you're out, to expect those delays and plan accordingly, or stay in and treat it like a snow day. Okay, buy your milk and bread, fill up your car, and stay home. So, and hopefully, surely most locals have views that they could see from home. But even if you wanted to travel and see some of the many venues that are going to be going on at that time, just make sure that you have a way to the venue and back, and know that you may not get home when you think you will. Be aware of the visitors that are coming into the county. They're not going to be aware of the terrain. They're not going to be aware of the layout of where to find all of these venues, so they might get lost and they might know our way off. And I'll just leave that at that. The visitors coming in, we want them to feel welcome. We want them to have a pleasant experience here and feel good about Cherokee County where they want to come back. But we also want them to be respectful of private property. We also want them to we want to emphasize go to the designated venue sites. Okay? And then also for the locals and for the visitors, just safety. Be aware of your surroundings, stay hydrated. It is going to be the dead of summer. It's going to be hot, hotter than today. So stay hydrated and make sure that you have protective eyewear. Eclipse glasses are being sold everywhere in the county that you can think of. Even at Main Street, I was told today. So some people are saying that, oh, I bought my sunglasses, that'll be good enough. That necessarily will not work. So make sure that you go and make that the NASA website can help you with that to see if whatever the guidelines are. I don't know what those are. But the only time, and I don't know, I hesitate to say it, the only time it is safe to view the eclipse without glasses is during totality. That 2 minutes and 30 some odd seconds when it is 100% shadowed is the only time you can look at it without glasses. Any other time, any other fraction would be considered a partial eclipse. And if you look at it without the glasses, you will experience permanent eye damage. So that's the messages that we're wanting to get out to the public. And with that, I will turn it over to EMS, Doug Mills, and then the sheriff for whatever they want to share on what they're doing with their agency.
Appreciate it, Robin. We've worked a whole lot, Robin, over this over the last 6 months. It's been quite a thing. You got to think about EMS. We're going to have still a normal call rate during that time. So we're looking at adding additional units on. My command staff will be on that weekend, available to go to the EOC. So that's the kind of thing we're doing. Maybe staging some units away from the center where the most people are going to be. And we've had a lot of meetings with the hospital. So we don't know, exactly what's going to go on. So, we might have to get people out of the county also, with the traffic. So we've been in contact with the helicopter agencies and things like that so we can get our residents and the visitors from point A to point B if we have to get them out of the county. So it's a lot of pre-planning for an unknown. So, but we do know that we're going to have our normal call volume during that time frame. And if there's X amount of people that comes into the county, it's going to go up proportional to how many people you have coming to the county. And that's our unknown. But we'll be prepared for it. We're going to have people on call, have extra trucks on anyway. So that's what we're planning on. And getting a lot of specifics. I don't know that sheriff will come in.
Thank you. When I call Robin, or I think it's something I call her about the eclipse, I'll say, Robin, I'm not talking to you in the last 30 minutes about the eclipse. So we have a conversation. We've been doing this since about January. Been having meetings since January about safety procedures. From the Office of Sheriff, we've got everything to worry about, from those private property issues of trespassing all the way to mass casualty events, terrorist events, those type of things that be potentials that could happen. So we're preparing for all those things that could happen. One of the things that we've done as a sheriff's office is that I've canceled all of my employee leave from the week before till after the event. Everyone is on call and available to work that week. During the event process, like we say, we don't know how many is going to come. We could literally have 10,000 extra people, or we could have 70,000 extra people. We don't know what those numbers will be. But our plan is to, as we monitor traffic and as things start getting thicker and as we have a hard time getting around and navigating through the county, we'll start activating our plan and bringing people into work. All of our detention officers, part-time and law enforcement, will be working. Our plan is to stage law enforcement throughout the county in different communities. to where when we do have those routine traffic calls and things that we normally handle, we won't have to try to navigate from Andrews to Wolf Creek to try to get to a call, but we'll already have people in those communities that can respond and be relatively close to when a call comes in. With that being in mind, we also have to understand that depending on the number of people and depending on what happens up there, there could be a possibility that law enforcement could not respond to every trespassing call that happens. And people pulling their driveway or parked in your yard or in a pasture somewhere, we may or may not be able to respond to all those things. So what we're asking from the public is, even though it may be frustrating, be patient with people. And if someone that is lost or pulls into your driveway or is parked and trying to find a vantage point to see the eclipse, and you don't want them there, attempt to be neighborly, attempt to be sociable, and just request someone to leave if possible. If that is an altercation occurs or something of that nature, and we may be blocked or answer calls or can't come or can't make it to that point, our request is that you just back off, get whatever information you can, whether it's tag numbers and things of that nature, and then we'll respond to those things accordingly.
No shotguns?
Well, we'd rather not. You know, we understand that there's private property rights and things that we need to protect and that we need to be on top of. But like I say, from the sheriff's standpoint and from our police departments, we also have to be cognitive to the fact that if you have some terrorist out there somewhere that's looking for a venue site to do something nefarious, that he's looking at all these places where everybody wants to go, and he's making plans right now to do things. And we can't stop all those things, but we need to be proactive with that. And I don't want to dive into that too much because we don't want to talk about plans and what we've got planned for that and contingencies and all those kind of things. But basically, we just want you to know that we're on top of this, that we already got plans to be in your community to help you respond to those calls. Our 911 center, we have a backup center and a 911 center. We'll be operating both centers through the event. We'll have one center that's a call intake only. And with our system, the way it is now, with our new center that's set up, when one center receives the call and puts that information in, it goes to a message board, and the secondary center can see all those things as the calls are coming up and put in. So we'll have one center dedicated to talking to people, putting calls on the board, and assigning things. And we'll have a secondary center who will be doing the radio traffic, responding to the officers, sending people to locations and things of that nature. So we will have two centers in operation, working in contingency with that. And it's going to be a great learning experience for us and a great exercise, because this is the way we would operate if we had a mass casualty event or something of that nature. So it is good training for us. We have made plans, talking with federal government, state government, of having extra help and extra people in the area. We have talked with some local folks about aircraft and about having helicopters and aircraft available. Have also talked to Civil Air Patrol of having people in the area to help navigate those things. And we're just trying to look at this from all angles that we can think of. What Robin said is exactly right. We look at it as a snow event and to treat that accordingly. If we were to get the influx of people for several days at a time, over the weekend or longer, it is the possibility that you can be looking at things like gas shortages and food shortages and things of that nature. So for our local folks, we're just requesting that you go ahead and stock up and fill your cars up and all those kind of things, and just kind of wait till the solar storm out. Yeah. I know that you probably got questions, so I'm going to go ahead and fill questions now. If you have any, then we'll turn it back over to whoever. So does anybody have any questions about law enforcement or anything? Yes, sir.
How are y'all going to deal with, we got a lot of airports around the area, how are you going to deal with people who want to go up and fly around during the eclipse in their private airplane?
Well, we've had a couple of discussions about that. One is we do not have restricted airspace here in Cherokee County, so we can't stop people from using their own aircraft and flying if that's what they want to do. One of the things we have discussed as far as the local events and places where we may have special landing zones and things set up is for our local towns to consider doing no-fly zones for drones and things of that nature that might interfere with emergency aircraft coming in. So we really can't stop people from flying and watching and doing those things. But if you are a pilot or you are in the area in the air, just pay attention to that, because you may have people in these parts that send the drones up and stuff, and or even out in the county sending drones up, and if you're in an aircraft, that can get very hazardous, because they'd be very hard to see from an aircraft. Yes, sir.
Does the National Guard play any role in this planning?
National Guard, from our understanding, is going to be on maneuvers during this time. And also, Robin, correct me if I'm wrong, but the National Guard cannot be utilized unless it's a state of emergency declared from the governor. So unless the governor declares a state of emergency, we can't use the National Guard anyway. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Traffic.
Uh-huh.
Are you going to take, like sometimes the fireworks people, you know, the fireworks, they line up alongside the roads. So
Right.
I figure that during that 2 minutes, they're gonna be stopping cars and getting out and looking. Are we gonna try to keep one lane open and use one lane only if they wanna stop?
That is the traffic moving. We do realize, depending on the amount of people, that during the event itself, it's very likely that people will stop wherever they're at, whether that's in the middle of the highway or an intersection or wherever, and get out of their cars. So we do recognize that that is going to be an issue. It's my understanding, and I'm going to go ahead and put this out here now, because a lot of people call my office and ask this question. It is my understanding that the Highway Patrol and the DOT is going to allow parking on the shoulders of the 4-lane and the highways, as long as cars are not in the median. You can park on the shoulders, not the median, and it has to be well off the roadway to where you're not obstructing traffic of any kind. The goal is to keep that traffic flowing, but that's going to be very contingent upon the amount of people that we see come to the area. And one of the issues is, as far as traffic, is there's a lot of the unknowns. We don't know if traffic will pick up like the Wednesday before where it'll be congested, or that Friday, or that Saturday, or that Sunday, or the day of. We really don't know how many days of that we will see that. Numbers that have been thrown out there is anywhere from the range of low, very bottom end of an extra 10,000 people coming to the county to high end of 70 to 80,000 extra people coming to the county. It could be anywhere in between. I would, this is just a guess from a poor country redneck boy that pays his best guess. But my best guess is based on our highway systems and what we have available. I'm very doubtful that we'll see more than 20 to 30,000 people at the most extra. Our road systems just won't handle the traffic. So I would dare say that even if 100,000 people wanted to come, our road systems couldn't handle but 20 to 40,000 at the most. So that's just my best educated guess to that. But we don't know. Literally, weather plays a factor in it. You know, where other events that are going on, things that are other things. But we do know this, just like Robin talked about, we have people calling all over the United States want to come to Andrews. We have people from Denmark and from Switzerland and Europe and Germany and all over the world, South America, Mexico, or calling, wanting to bring groups into the area, to the Murphy Andrews area. So I do expect heavy congestion and traffic. Putting things in perspective, and I'm not trying to create panic, I'm just trying to get people to think about this. That's where you're trying to make a determination whether to leave home or stay home. Is if you think about the opening day of the casino and the traffic that was backed up from the casino intersection all the way past Arby's, that was approximately about 3,000 people coming to the casino. So if you have a situation where you're having 10,000 plus coming in the area at the same time, you can imagine what the congestion would be like. So that's just something to put in perspective when you're debating on whether to leave your house that day or stay home. One other thing along those things from a law enforcement standpoint and private property and understanding the response times to this is that you think about the fact that if you leave your home to go to an event or to go to the county, you could get stuck in traffic and have a hard time getting back, which may leave your home sitting open and available to people doing things at your home, stealing things, breaking in, whatever may happen. So it's my best advice I can give you: stay home and take care of your property and have somebody there able to watch over things. Yes,
Are you planning on coordinating with your local fire departments around the area?
Yeah, that's something we've been discussing with Robin and Doug, and this is, like I say, we have looked at every possibility you can think of, from terrorist events to an airplane crashing in the middle of it. You know, I mean, we're thinking of every possibility of anything that could go wrong and what our plans are for that, fires and mass casualty events and all those type of things. So one thing that also I think is realistic, we can prepare for tragedies and mass casualties and all that, but I think a very realistic thing is if traffic's congested and it's 90 degrees, and people are stuck in traffic, there's gonna be a lot of anger, screaming and yelling at each other, fights on the roads, things of that nature. So just try not to get involved in those type of situations. And people are frustrated, screaming and yelling. There's some things you just gotta let go and just let it go.
You're talking about congestion. Are you thinking from Friday through Monday?
Our best guess is heavy congestion should start that Friday through Monday. But we do know that as far as the professional people, and we'll be coming in as much as a week ahead of time, setting up equipment, getting venue sites ready, and things of that nature. You will start seeing traffic start picking up a week before. It's just where we hit that saturation point, we don't know where that will fall within that week. It could be the Wednesday before, it could be the Friday before, it could be the day of. We just don't know where that will fall. All right, any other questions? Darrell, I'll turn it back over to you.
I forgot to mention that we also have a public information officer who will be pushing out those messages regarding updates on the eclipse. So he's going to share those on the Cherokee County Emergency Management Facebook page and on the NC Cooperative Extension Facebook page. So you'll be able to get information from us through that, and also there's the map of the eclipse, some information from the nationaleclipse.com, and also local information from WNCSolarEclipse.com. There's a lot of good information from that, and it's all local. So, and the Facebook page, WNC Solar Eclipse on Facebook. We have a lot of people present that's been part of the planning process. So from the Andrews side, from the chamber, and all of them. So they've also put in a lot of work of bringing the visitors in, and we appreciate that. Sort of.
I think they can stop now.
Yeah, they can stop now. But just also, I'll put a plug in for the county's new reverse 911 system, Nixle.com, NIXLE.com, to sign up for the reverse 911 system. If you are signed up through Code Red, you are not signed up through Nixle, so you have to re-register for that. If you want to get the phone call, you have to go online to sign up for it, or you can go on the Cherokee County website. If you just want a text message, you get your phone out now and text to 888-777, and then in the subject line, put your zip code, and you're automatically signed up, but you will only get a text. So, should there be any emergencies that we have to push out immediately, we will be utilizing that also.
What was that number on your cell phone? 888?
888-777. And then in the subject, just put your zip code.
Can you do that and still get the phone call?
You can't get the phone call. That's a text message only. A lot of people, that's all they want. Text message doesn't wake me up at night, so I have to get the phone call also. So if you want the phone call, you can go to Nixle.com or go to the Cherokee County website, and there's a link on it there also. It takes 2 minutes to sign up. And you can kind of customize it to what you like. But if there are, emergencies that something happens and we need to get information immediately out, that will be one avenue that we'll use also.
What would the difference in the information be that's going to Eclipse 2017? On Nixle, I know there's a Eclipse 2017 sign up.
Specific to Eclipse, I mean, that would be non-emergency stuff. If you want planning, thank you for that. Also, if you want just planning information, we've set up a special group through this reverse 911 system that the other one did not have. So if you want specific information, planning, non-emergency stuff, you can also text 888-777, and in the subject line, Eclipse 2017, and you'll get information on the Eclipse that we push out also.
since I don't text and I'm not on Facebook, I'm literally in the dark. I better stay at home.
That's what you will do when the eclipse is on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
County school.
I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank you very much for the presentation. It really was terrific. I will tell you this, okay? If you look at the eclipse with your naked eye, you will fry your macula and you will be legally blind. The thing that frightens me most about it from an ophthalmology point of view is kids. You don't know that. So you have to be very careful if you have kids and they go out, you have to be very careful. If they're naturally curious, they're going to look up, and that's all it takes. And I don't really know, yes, supposedly you can look at the total eclipse and say, I'm not going to do that. Not me. Yes, sir.
NASA has a bunch of eclipse chasers. The foremost expert on the world is on eclipses and eye safety is Dr. Frank Chow. During totality is 100% safe, but as soon as you get any thin sliver of partial eclipse showing, even if it's 99.9, the intensity of the sun will burn your eye as you're describing. But during totality itself, those few minutes and seconds are 100% safe. Every space agency on the Earth endorses that statement.
Right. It's all about power density. That's what we're talking about. That's what is all, this is all about power density. It's the same way a laser works when it burns you, when we use it to treat the eye or treat anything else. Sir?
Doctor, inevitably, knowing human nature, there will be people who are going to burn their macula.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any words of advice to the lay public as to what to do when you suspect that your child or neighbor has just burned their macula?
The burn is instantaneous. It's no different than if I sat there with a laser and shined it directly onto the macula. So that's why it is really critically important that you watch children especially, because they are curious, they're going to look up. Personally, I wouldn't take the chance of looking at a total eclipse without glasses on either. You never can tell. You may pick the wrong 10 seconds.
Right.
Not worth it.
And so
there is no treatment for that.
It's only prevention.
Right.
Thank you.
Doctor,
yeah.
How about taking a photograph? Is it going to blow your camera? Or do you know?
I don't know.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, don't forget, most animals don't have a macula.
Most animals are smarter than us.
Most animals will be hiding under a rock somewhere.
Worried about her cats.
Anything else that we can talk about the eclipse, or any other comments or questions you have while we have our experts here?
Will we get an update prior to August 21st from the EMS people? Can we rely on the scout to deliver us with useful and reliable information?
We will be pushing out information through those Facebook pages, you know, as it gets closer. Any issues that we see arising through the Cherokee County Facebook page, the Cherokee County Emergency Management Facebook page, the NC Cooperative Extension will be how we get information out as it gets closer and evolves, okay, for us.
Anything else?
Comment?
Yes.
Just a comment for locals. I've lived through 20 years of the Masters Tournament in Augusta, Georgia. Get your stuff early and stay home.
I think the sheriff had some wise words. Really, if you're out, your home is vacant. Whenever there are crowds coming, people come to take advantage of that. Be smart. Get food, get water, get fuel. I guarantee you can see the eclipse from the house.
We've been encouraging in Andrews that those that don't actually feel that they can be successful, at their business that particular day, if it's not something geared towards visitors, that perhaps that they might want to stay home with their families and enjoy the event.
And go to their schools.
Sir?
How about churches, for instance? Would you recommend leaving the lots open for anyone to park their vehicle? And it's likely they're going to be there all weekend.
I go to Valleytown Baptist Church, which is just beside the middle school there in Andrews, which we're basically in the epicenter of it. We've had a couple of safety meetings with our safety team and things at the church, and one of the things I try to explain to them that I think would be beneficial to all churches is if we have the amount of traffic that we think is coming, every parking place will have a car in it, and if you try to block stuff off and not allow people to park, chances are there are going to be people wind up parking there anyway. My suggestion is to go ahead and leave those open and let people park in them, to just keep troubles down, keep conflicts down, things of that nature. But one thing I would also suggest too is your churches and businesses is a lot like your homes. It's secondary to your homes. But also you got to take into fact too that you can have what we refer to as the Eclipse refugees, which may come to the area and have a vehicle breakdown or overheat during the day or can't get home or run out of gas or whatever it may be and have nowhere to go. And so you may experience businesses, churches, things like that getting broken into. And so what we suggested is if you can have people demand the church or demand your business or whatever, it might be something good to have people there available, where if you need to, you can open those doors and allow people to come in, but still take care of your church or your business.
So you're recommending that if someone shows up and parks in the lot and they want to use the bathroom, to let them in?
That's going to be a church decision. It's going to be based on what that particular church wants to do. I know for ours, one of the things that we have decided to do is have certain areas available to the public, not to necessarily let people have free reign of church and fellowship hall and all the amenities. But have areas where if they need to come to the bathroom or a cool down station or come in and get out of the weather type of thing, that we have certain designated places they can go within the church. But I think you might be getting in trouble if you just open your doors and let people have free reign.
Right.
You may wind up having 200 people inside the church and not knowing who's where and what's going on, what rooms and whatever. So
and be there all night.
Yeah. So I would recommend having designated areas if you do open your church up. But it's just my personal feeling, and you may disagree, and that's okay. But my opinion is, especially with parking lots, even if you rope them off and block them off at the night time when people's gone, people's going to get through chains and come park anyway and get off the roads and whatever. So my opinion is it's better just to leave those things open and let people park in them if they want to park in them.
If you want the parking lot, they're going to park in your grass.
Right, and they'll be in the ditches and everything else. So. And that's just an opinion of mine, and if you may disagree, that's fine. Feel free to disagree. Okay?
Okay, well, thank you. That concludes this portion of the recess. We're going to unrecess. Can I have a motion to?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Okay. We have reconvened, and we are going to take a motion to go into executive session at this point. Can I have a motion? All in favor? Thank you all for coming.